friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd. Welcome to my channel. I've been giving it some thought how I wanted to launch this channel. What nerdy media did I want to talk about first? And of course, it's going to be anime because I love anime. Like most millennials, elder millennial, still a millennial. It's all about Gen Z now, but elder millennial. Like most millennials, I was introduced to Japanese animation as a child. There were a lot of shows that Nickelodeon snuck in on us that we did not know were anime, but they were. They got us early. Let's name a couple. I'm gonna age myself. Maya the Bee, The Little Bits. Those were such cute shows. Noozles, The Adventures of the Little Koala. And let's not even forget the shows that were literally created to sell toys. And they did a real good job at that. I'm looking at you, Transformers. They got their hooks into us at an early age. Although when I was that young, I didn't know I was watching anime. I just knew I was watching cartoons that I liked and I loved the stories they told. As I got older, when I went into my college years, I majored in theater and English, and now I'm completing a degree in the science of communication. I love a good story. And what fascinates me about Japanese animation in particular is its ability to tell all kinds of stories and do it very well. You already have suspended your disbelief to be watching animation in the first place. So, wherever the story goes from there, your brain's going to be okay with it. And that creates an environment for an impactful experience, whether it's heightened emotions because you're watching a great love story, or that sense of danger when you're watching an adventure story, or being transported to another world in an isekai story. I love anime. I'm not even going to call it a guilty pleasure. It's just an enjoyment of my life. It's a little bit of escapism, and escapism is okay, especially in the times we're living in. Everyone needs to take a step back and do something other than be in reality. So my thought was, what anime do I want to review first? I mean, you got to hit the algorithm, right? That's the whole point of this YouTube thing. If you don't hit the algorithm, there was no point. Um, I could do that, and I'm gonna review some anime that hit the algorithm, but I wanted to talk about a story first that had a significant impact on me. So I guess hashtag mini spoiler warning right now. I'm not gonna get way too deep into the story because I want you to view it yourself. It's a medium to be shared, and I'm sharing my love of anime with you. We're gonna talk about In This Corner of the World. It's a small story about ordinary people trying to live ordinary lives during an extraordinary time. It centers around a young girl who grows into a young lady named Suzu. She lives in 1930s and 40s Japan with her family in a village located a few miles outside of Hiroshima. So you can probably guess the ending of this story. Context clues. Um, Susie's an ordinary girl. She's not ugly, she's not pretty. She's not lazy, she's not ambitious. She's ordinary. And I believe this movie, at least to me, is a celebration of just being ordinary and how valuable the simple, ordinary life really is. um, she likes to draw. She loves her sister and her brother. She has a good relationship with her grandmother and her parents. And like all girls, she wonders if she'll get married one day. And Suzu does. A young man that met her when they were children remembered her around marrying age time and reached out to the family, and Suzu agrees to, yes, I will marry him. He seems like a good young man and a match. So Suzu's simple life moves from her parents' home to her in law's home. And again, it's ordinary. They're not overly loving, but they're not mean by any stretch. You know, they're not wealthy, but they're not destitute either. No one has great standing in the community, but no one's a criminal either. It's an ordinary life. She takes pleasure in trying to be a good daughter in law, in drawing the new scenery that's all around her. in her now niece, who is the daughter of her sister in law, of spending time with this new young child and navigating her new surroundings with her. It's a small story about small people during a great event. So, this is taking place during World War II, and everyone's lives become interrupted by war. And I think that's the impact of this story. So often, when these great events of history are unfolding around us, or we are reading about them in books, do books still exist? Or reading about them in books, we forget that regular people who have nothing to do with the conflict are suffering the greatest because of the conflict. Countries and governments go to war, but the ordinary citizens just want a peaceful life. And Suzu sees how this war is affecting her family, how the men on both sides of her family are taken off to war, how the women are left at home to raise all of the children on their own, keep the house economically going, forage for food when rations run low, and take care of aging in laws and parents because all of the men, for the most part, are gone. There comes a point in the story where they are now having to practice air raid drills because now the Americans are bombing routinely the islands of Japan, and they have to be prepared in case that happens to them. And you're watching Suzu experience these things, and you're experiencing the pressures of war on ordinary people through the eyes of an ordinary person. And she's left her family. And at this point in the story, Suzu doesn't know how it's going to end. She doesn't know what's coming. We do. And I think that heightens the tension of the story, knowing where her natal family lives. She's from a village outside of Hiroshima. We know what's going to happen. And as you're watching the movie and the war becomes more intense, the things that they are lacking, the family members that are taken away by war in different ways, we know what's next. And you hurt for Suzu because you know that when the bomb drops, everyone was affected. Everyone lost someone that day. Everyone had health effects from it. And you have true empathy for an ordinary person trying to lead an ordinary life during extraordinary times. I think this is a fantastic movie to watch with the way the world is right now. You know, there's a lot going on, but it's comforting to remember to celebrate ordinary, having a regular life. You know, I was talking with some friends the other night. We all went and had a little bit of a girls' night, you know, eating cheese and, you know, swapping stories, having a couple of drinks, just, you know, good girlfriend time. And they were talking about the lottery right now is over $1 billion. And everyone wanted a ticket. Now, I'm a little bit of a weenie. I've never bought a lottery ticket. I probably never will. I mean, people have given them to me. I know what they look like, but I've never bought one. And I said to them, I said, I don't even think my dreams reach $1 billion. I don't have aspirations that require me to have that much money. I don't know what I do with it. I'm ordinary. And I like being ordinary. There's a simplistic beauty in having just a simple life and enjoying it and just wanting that simple life to continue. Yes, everyone has it in them to do great things. But sometimes those great things are being satisfied with a simple, fulfilling life that you can be proud of. And that's what Suzu wanted, but it got interrupted. And we're all going through an interruption right now. And it's a good time to take a step back and connect with something that reminds us ordinary is okay. Yes, some big plans got interrupted, but be thankful for the ordinary. Be thankful for your family that is still with you. Be thankful if you are able to pay your bills and still eat and feed those around you, be thankful if you have a support system. Because just as easily as we attained all those things, tomorrow it could all be gone. And that's the reality that Suzu lives with. We knew what was coming for her, but she didn't. And with the world going through the things right now, we're a little bit like Suzu. We don't know what's going to happen next. But this many years after the event, it's okay. And once all of this dies down and goes away, it's gonna be okay. So I hope you watch In This Corner of the World. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And, I'm new to this YouTube thing, so I don't have an outro. But I hope you enjoyed this review. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to talk to you down below in the comments.